Hello folks, and welcome to Linux for Seniors. Now if you have never seen any of my new YouTube site videos, let me just take you on a brief tour. But I am going to be talking about calendars today, whether it's a Desklet calendar or other calendars like that. So stay tuned. I'm going to first give you a brief overview of my own YouTube site if you have not subscribed yet. Linux for Seniors. None of my videos are less than 2 minutes. I highly encourage that you subscribe. That way you can start watching this and other videos. Hit stop, come back tomorrow, the next day, or following week, and pick up from where you left or restart the video. So my previous channel had over 450 videos. And I just started up this new site on February 9th. Now I'm calling it Linux for Seniors because my intent is on making simple videos for seniors or anybody that is a Linux enthusiast that wants to understand Linux in a different way. In other words, making simple videos. That's why they're longer, because I try to explain things maybe in a different language than you're used to hearing, maybe on YouTube. Either way, I've been doing Linux stuff for over 25 years. I've used a lot of different Linux distributions. Okay. Yeah, as a note also, I do recommend that you try to watch my videos on the largest screen possible for you. Since most of the mobile devices, hence like smartphones, usually have very small screens. Sometimes some of my videos contain text. It's hard for you to read. We also show you a quick tip that's an undocumented feature. Holding down the control key and scrolling up will make this text rather large. And then I'm going to scroll the other way to make it smaller. All I'm doing is holding the control key and using my computer mouse to do this with. If you've never tried that, give it a shot in your Firefox. So I'm going to scroll to where I think it's semi-comfortable for me. Again, this is Firefox. And point out a couple of more things to you. So I have some links in here too. If you're looking for extra mouse pointer or cursors, there's a nonprofit link here. DistroWatch if you're looking for other Linux distributions besides Mint. And then there are some other articles for you and links to Linux information. Again, subscribe. Most of my new subscribers miss this part, these little links up here. There are only 5 of them. That's the limitation of YouTube, not me. So they're in this nice little background here of the ocean. This is the coast of Oregon, if you're curious. So again, Linux for Seniors is, yes, my intent is to make this videos for literally anyone, but generated toward the senior community to slow down on making simple Linux videos. You can scroll through my videos. You can also, if you're using a standard web browser, use that magnifying glass. There is a big difference between mobile devices and regular computers when you're viewing stuff on YouTube. Normally, if you're using a regular web browser, this magnifying glass is right here. And normally on a mobile device, you're using applications, and that is the only search key you have, and it's searching all of YouTube. This one looks through my keywords, and all my videos are keyword indexed. I'll use the word M-O-U-S-E. For rodent, no, I meant mouse as in computer mouse. It will start searching all through my videos, and it has in the past on my previous YouTube site the same thing. I index my videos. So it's using the word mouse, so it finds all the videos that have the word mouse in them. So that one is a MX distribution, that is Linux Mint, that is Pop! OS, Gen 2, Manger, and LMDE, for instance. Just using a keyword. You can still scroll through these if you like. My current library is around 30. My previous library was about 450 videos. Again, I just started this website on this date. So with that, subscribe. And now let's move on. So we have a calendar here. And there's another calendar that I put this event into that I populated this box. I'll talk about that calendar next after I talk about this one. So let me change the background picture to let you see that's a see-through calendar. Let me find something in the Vera category, did I not make mention of what system this was? Maybe I didn't. Let me do that right now, get this over with. This is Linux Mint 21.1. And don't read into anything about why I have so much RAM or any of that stuff, because I do other work on this machine. So this is Linux Mint 21.1. That's all you need to know. It's a Cinnamon desktop. So it has a Vera folder. I added the extra Star Wars folder in the wallpaper. So Vera, I'm going to pick something from what you have on your machine. So what do we want to use? How about these clouds? You can see right through this calendar, correct? All right. I'm going to right click on this thing. And what am I using for a screen resolution? Let me see what I'm filming in today. 1920 by 1080. So again, that also has a large bearing on how big these things look. You may have other options on your machine too. If I go north of 1080 up to 4K, for instance, then these become a little bit smaller. If I go south and go to 800 by 600, these becomes very large. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Let's move on. So I'm going to remove this on purpose. Delete it. Then I'm going to right click on my screen. You can right click on your screen anywhere. Doesn't matter. Add Desklet. Fourth item. Add Desklet. I'm going to physically remove that calendar from the system. So these three with the lock symbols is what you have for Desklets that you cannot remove. I'll just show the first one. It's just a simple clock. However, if you like that feature, leave it. You have a clock down here also. Or you can configure this box also. Now I'm going to turn it off because I can't delete it because it's locked. We have some other Desklets that we can do downloads, and we can do searches. We can sort it by popularity and all these other different choices, and we can scroll, or you can search. I'm going to type in calendar, C-A-L. Close enough. Calendar Desklet is what I'm looking for by this person. I'm going to click it. I'm going to hit that download arrow key, install key, download, install. I don't know how, if you saw that, it just blurted right on by. You need to be on the internet, by the way, when you do this. Okay, so I have it set here, but it's still not appearing here because I need to activate it. What is activation? It's the plus key. You need to add it to your desktop. And normally these appear on this side of the screen. You can move them afterwards, which I'm about to do. You can also configure them in here, or you can configure them on your desktop. So now I'm going to close this box and drag it over to here. So it's very tiny right now. So I'm going to right click and hit configure. There's some configuration options with every Desklet, and they are different. So this may be overwhelming for some folks, but I'm going to make it really simple for you. If you wanted not to show the time, you can turn that off. All right, you can do some other changes in here, but I'm not going to cover every single step. I'm going to cover some of the more important ones, like how big it is. Drag this over to here. This is the largest of that. For my screen resolution, it looks very large. Maybe for yours it's different. Screen resolution has a lot to do with things. So that's 36, or the largest it'll go, font size. I'll drag it the other way. It's very small. Maybe this works if you have maybe a lower resolution screen. But more importantly, I'm going to make mine fairly large. In the past, sometimes your Desklet would crash. So let me make mention of that before I continue. If that happens, there is no problem with actually restarting your Cinnamon. Right-click on your panel bar, troubleshoot, restart Cinnamon. As soon as you click that, your mouse pointer is going to jump to the center. It'll say restarting Cinnamon. And I'm going to do this while filming and talking. It just restarted Cinnamon. Didn't miss a beat, did I? And I'm filming. So just understand that these Desklets sometimes will glitch out and you need to restart Cinnamon manually, that's how you can do that. Let's move on. Configure. Doesn't always happen, and it's been a while since I've seen that happen actually. So more importantly, I'm going to make this transparent so I can see the clouds. So I'm going to drag the transparency to 100%. This kind of turns bright red because I'm in edit mode, so I'm going to close that. Now I can completely see through the calendar And more importantly, you can move these around to where you want them. We're still not done yet. Right-click, configure. Do you see Sunday and Saturday in here? We can change the colors. Text color for Sunday. What do you want to use? I'll use yellow. What color yellow? I'll choose that one if I like. There's yellow. What about Saturdays? Saturdays, for some folks, is, well, happy day. Maybe they're still working. So Saturday is when they have free time. All right, now it's green. Current date. Showing the time. Today's date. And the year. Right-click, configure. You don't want to show the time? Turn that off. All right, I could do this all day long. Okay, simple calendar, goes to today's date. Now let's talk about this one. This calendar is also tied into another calendar that you can plug in events, as I plugged in here. You can also put in your online calendars for like Google, as an example, and other events. Let's go to Linux for Seniors. I'm just going to caution you, I do have some custom icons in there, so don't get blown away if you see weird stuff in there. Okay, like the game's icon is Darth Vader, all right? So I'm going to type in the word calendar. So what I'm looking for is that one. So this hamburger menu is what I call it, because it looks like it has the bun on the top, the meat in the center. I didn't make this up. Someone else said that, and I kind of liked that. It's kind of cute. So if I have weather services turned on, location services turned on, it'll populate weather in here. It's taking a guess of where I'm at. How's that? So this is calendar. It should be already installed on your system. All right, I have a couple of ways of adding some maybe birthdays and personalized stuff in here. I also have in the hamburger menu online accounts. If you put in your Google information for your Gmail, it'll pull in your calendar. If you are using Google Storage, Google Drive, it will populate that in your file manager under Networks, and you can click it. And it'll show you the files and folders there. And then you can click on these other services. There's more than meets the eye. Let me drag this a little bit further down. All right. So let's just go with, I'm using a simple calendar. I'm clicking on events myself. I am using a dark theme. Maybe you're using a light theme. So that would also depend on how this is going to present. You can have these in white or black depending on the theme you picked with Linux Mint. I happen to pick a dark theme with red. So hence the February is red. So let's walk across the menu. You have that thing here. You have a search feature. You're looking for events. You have the year. You have the month. You have the week. So we'll stick with the month. I'll talk about the events in a second. So you can also slide this from different months. That's March, April, May. So you notice that there is an event populating in here because I had it turn on in the events to say once a month, wash the car, for instance. So that appears in all the months on that day. If you get lost in the weeds and you want to go to today, then you press that today. So because I'm currently filming this on the 21st of February. You could be watching this on a different day. So there's the event for washing the car. I'm going to hit edit. You can see that's repeated monthly. So I have some options like no repeat. Here's a typical dialog box for adding an event. You put in something. Is it all day or is it a timed event? Your choice. Is it monthly? You can also put in yearly for like somebody's birthday. Or you can have no repeat. You know, you can do a lot of things. You can also set a reminder. You can also put in notes. So I'm going to hit cancel. So I'm going to point to that thing. It's yellow. My little hand is my mouse pointer. It says wash the car, but this says test underneath it. Why is that? Because if I hit the edit box, I wrote a note here. I can change that to something different if I wanted to. So on this one here, I said subscribe to Linux for Seniors because my videos are long. So edit that event. So basically, it's I have it set for 3 days. So you can do stuff like that in here also. It's got no repeat, so it's only 3 days, and then it's it'll stay there until you can delete the event. So, and you can do that rather easily. So there's a lot of things you can do. If you needed to do one from scratch, I'll do that one. And test 2, whatever, edit. And then I can start doing, is it all day or is it timed? In other words, start from. So from that time, does it repeat? You could just say, okay, from 12 and close that, and then ends, and you can click on, let's say, the 17th. Now that will stretch from here to here. And then, is there any other options you want to add, like notes? No, I'm going to hit done. So that says test 2 for 3 days. So it's a simple way. More importantly, the calendar is huge. You look at the year, kind of a small thing. So you can see part of the calendar here, month, week, different ways of looking at things. You can also resize these things. Lots of different things. This calendar here is not tied into this one. This one is tied into this one. Here's the test I just created. Wash the car. Wash the car. Test 2. Test 2. Little dots underneath this guy. Are you stuck with just putting in events yourself? No. Do you have online calendars? All right, then activate your accounts. If you have one of these, then it'll populate. I can't vouch for every one of these services, but I have done Google before, and it does work. It will pull events into this calendar. And again, if you're wanting this large calendars, I could still edit this still in this mode. I'll go with the maximum. So if you're wanting something that big, you can certainly do that. And when you change the wallpaper or background, that becomes more pronounced. Maybe. Just clicking different wallpaper. Remember this guy? I'm sure everybody's seen Star Wars at one time or another. These are just different wallpapers I pulled off the internet. So anyways, and then you can bring in your own folder, of course. And that's another animal itself. So that's Crater Lake, Oregon, if you're curious. It's a digital photo I took a couple of 3 years ago. So that's Crater Lake, Oregon. It's a national park. So I'll go to a dark background using the mint background. So you can see how pronounced these calendars are. So again, if you don't like the color of the text, it's all white. You want to add some color in your Sundays and Saturdays or none, that's all up to you. This is the configuration box. There's quite a few options. So if you don't like the general text and you want it red, for instance, you can do it that way. It'll become probably kind of crazy looking, but anyways, it is what it is. Different ways of looking at calendars, folks. So I'm going to go to my software manager, and your icon will look different. And we're going to punch in calendar. So you have a lot of options when you're looking for different calendar type of stuff. You know, there's all kinds of things you can look for calendar. And sometimes it's Organizer with a calendar, like this one. Korganizer. How many pieces of software does Linux Mint have in their software store? Manager. SY. System. Synaptic Package Manager is going to give me that total minus Flatpak software. Roughly 70,000. So basically, I'm sure you can find some software that has some calendars in it. Flatpak software, by the way, is not reflected in that number I've just shown. So this comes from flathub.org. Not that that's matter. But anyways, do some searches if you don't like the built-in calendars. Personally, I think they're great. and the Desklet. I'm going to change this back to white font. Text color, white. Do that rather quickly, can't you? So this is built into Linux Mint. This calendar is built into Linux Mint. And that calendar ties into this calendar, which is also automatically installed on your distribution currently. I'll make it bigger. Hamburger menu, calendar. Okay. Hopefully you found this video informative. Hopefully you have subscribed. Moving down the road, I have different tips for you. You know, my videos may show a little bit different tips than others. Everybody has different ways of doing some things in Linux. I'm no exception to that rule also. I've been doing Linux for 25 years. I've operated many distributions. I'm fond of Linux Mint also. It's easy to use, easy to install, and more importantly, also easy to customize. Very easy to customize. On that note, folks, I will say thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.